Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing Roxas map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. We'll start with Team 1 on the northwestern side of the map, and then we'll end with Team 2 on the southeastern side of the map. Taking a look at Team 1 Southeastern player on that nice little peninsula here. We have in orange, the color orange. It is Oppie146 playing as a Seraphim. He is a 600. To his west, going in clockwise fashion, we have Deserted Eagle, not Desert Eagle. He is a Cybran. He is in Snow White as a 1200. I just want to let you know ahead of time. I will probably say Desert Eagle ahead of time just so everybody is aware. To his west in Amethyst Purple, it is Sizelman playing as UEF. He is a 1600. And then to his north, we have in Regal Purple, it is the UEF of Nyx. He is a 1500. Moving on to the northwest corner of the map here, we have in Royal Blue, it is Wasteman playing as a UEF as well. He is a 1400. And then rounding out Team 1, we have in Glow in the Dark Green, it is Kabanoff playing as a Seraphim. He is a 1700. He is the highest rated player on his team of Team 1, and he's tied with somebody on Team 2 for the highest rated player overall. So for Team 1 side of the map, in terms of faction makeup, they have 3 UEF, then they have 1 Cybran, 0 Aeon, and then 2 Seraphim. So again, missing only the Aeon faction. Moving on to the southeastern side of the map for Team 2, starting off on the peninsula, we have in Tropical Ocean Blue, we have the UEF of Simon the Gamer 44 playing as a UEF. He is an 1100. Moving on eastward, we have in Light Out Tan, it is Nation. He is a UEF. He is a 1200. And rounding out the northern side of Team 2, we have in Blood Angel Red. I'm trying out a new name for a new, not a new color, but a new name for a color is Gouache. I always want to say Ganache, but there's no N. But Gouache, he is a UEF. He is a 1500. To his south in Chevy Crimson, we have the Cybran of Asus Pro. He is a Cybran. He is a 1300. I don't know if he's a pro with Asus hardware or he's an Asus Pro with like messing with hardware. I don't know. Anyway, we have in lightest red pink in the southeast corner of the map, it is J141. I'll probably call him just J for short. He is a Seraphim. He is a 1300. And rounding out Team 2, we have in Rust to the west is another Seraphim for Team 2. It is excited. He is doubly excited to play this match. He is a 1700. He is the highest rated player on his team of Team 2 and tied with Team 1's Kavanaugh for the highest rated player overall. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have 3 UEF, 1 Cybran, and then 0 Aeon with 2 Seraphim, which means not only does Team 1 and Team 2 have the exact same faction makeup, they are both missing Aeon technology, which means I have to shout out the Aeons in the viewership because there are no Aeons in this game. Apologies to those loyal to the princess. Hopefully you will enjoy the game nonetheless. And for these 12 players on this mostly water map, let's take a look at their reclaim situation. Currently sitting at... Ooh, that's not great. 4,300 mass. We'll up it to even 45. Because why not? Because there's not a lot of mass on the map. It's not even 400 mass per player to scoop up. So not going to be a huge rushing off to the middle of the map or wherever on the map to grab that reclaim. But I will want to note there are a lot of mexes specifically in the water to grab, which does one of two things. A, all surface weapons are unable to touch them. B, makes torpedoes even more valuable because those are the only weapon systems on either comms or on ships or on planes or technically on land units that can target those mexes. So they're going to be very, very valuable. We'll probably see a little bit more leaning in towards the torpedo tech, as we already see with Team 2's Asus going for the torpedo upgrade for the Cybran Commander. And I will note, he and Team 1's Deserted Eagle are the only 2 players in the game who can have that upgrade. So early on, going for that upgrade is super valuable. But I do want to make a note, at least, of some major clumpages of mexes. Again, on the main landmass for each team. They're just the main players' bases, mexes, but we do have a quad mix position here. We also have a splattering of mexes here. And then we have another splattering of mexes surrounding a nice little it's technically Team 1 hydrocarbon, which is the hydrocarbon position. And in terms of, we see a little bit of skirmishing between some Tiger Sharks and other Team 1 subs from Team 1 and Team 2 on the western front. And we do see that there's a large portion of the water that has a very higher land mass, which means teams could utilize some experimentals on the water side of things, on the water, tomato, potato, to be able to defend or attack. But there is a huge cliff that just jumps off, as you can see. So there are some avenues that those units will have to travel this way and this way. We do see, looks like somebody on Team 1 is pointing out some sort of travel plan for his units, or maybe his teammates' units on the western side. Looks like those were made by Sizolin. He's continuing to making them as we speak. And this is probably going to be almost an entire naval-focused map. Of course, air will always play a role, I think, in every game. I don't see a game that ever doesn't have air. Land, we might see some things. We do see stealth also started here for Asus. He might go for nano, and he does not. We'll see if he goes for it in a moment, but he does have 2,000 additional hit points with the stealth upgrade on board. It looks like it's probably going to be 5 players on each team in the ponds. Looks like Team 1's Wasteman is going for air as we speak. We should see a similar thing for Team 2's J in the southeast, which we do as well. So it looks like it's going to be 1 air player for each team, but I would presume, or at least hope, everybody in Navy goes for at least T2 air so they get their own torpedoes on board. We do see some comm movements. Again, we probably won't see a lot of comm v comm action in this game because, again, 90+% of this map is water, so there probably won't be any opportunities for comm v comm action. We could see some telemasers from the Cybern commanders, so there is that. We could see any sort of transport comm with maybe a gun splash comm from some Seraphim or something. We'll have to watch out and see. We do see Team 1 getting their Tiger Sharks, their other subs online. I don't know where I was going with that. I was going to say, I don't even know what I was going to say there. To the east, we have a lot of facilities started here for Team 1's OP, just to get, again, some spam online. We do see a little bit of some harassment from Team 2, knocking out this quad mix position here. And somebody has noted to me about a week or so ago that I should classify clumpages of mexes as within range of a, I'll say, regular nuke blast, because then we have Billy Nuke, Naval Nuke, Normal Nuke, and then obviously YOLO Nuke. So in a regular nuke blast, I don't know the exact range offhand, but I mean, I feel like it'd be something maybe about this. Obviously, it's a circle, not an oval there, but you get my point. So maybe I'll start doing that. It was a suggestion, so it's one of those things I'll have to continuously remember because I don't remember it offhand all the times. But anyway, we have a sub affair going down between Team 1 and Team 2, again hunting one another with those Tiger Sharks from both sides, and some slivers, because again it's the T1 sub equivalent for the Cyberns. We do see T2 started on board the eastern side for Kamenov. We also could see maybe a lot of stationary defenses in terms of some torp launchers. They aren't super the best things in this game, but a little bit of defense is better than no defense. We maybe even see a lot of harms being built by players giving over the Cybern technology, because again, 1 player on each team has access to it. They could hand over technology to anybody else. But we shall see. It looks like there's some conversation in chat about whatever the heck they're talking about. T2 started on board excited. He has T2 Navy online. And also for the northern player of Gouache, he has T2 Navy also online. Looks like a lot of players on Team 2 either have it or going to have it. Team 1 looks like we have similar things, T2 and T2. To the north, we have nothing yet for Nyx. And then nothing really yet online for Team 1's Kamenov. I do want to make a note that his facility, his only one, it was first and second one, are in the corners of the map. So it does 2 things. One, you put it in a very weird spot to put it, a not normal spot to put it, which makes it harder to find. But it also makes it harder to defend, and it does cut down on travel time, because instead of having the ship travel all the way over here, just has to go like that. So it's severely cuts down on travel time, but if Team 2 notices, those facilities will probably be the first ones to go. Right now, looks like they haven't spotted it yet. Not a lot of scouting for Team 2. They've seen some stuff in the ponds. Team 1, they've seen a lot more, not entirely, but again, small landmass makes it easy. Maybe we could even have a nuke land here and grab chunks of both bases, especially right here where these two players are very close to one another. We could see some nuke innings going down sooner rather than later, just because this game might turn into a little bit more battleship standoffy in terms of distance and whatnot. We do see Team 2's Aces on the western side hanging out. Again, he has the torpedo upgrade. We have some subs being chased by Team... Actually, not even being chased. They're actually both from Team 1. We have both the forces from Sizoan and Deserted here. We have a couple of frigates, so some surface weapons, but mainly torpedo-based weaponry on board for Team 1. And again, like I said, it is because a majority of the stuff for both teams is in the water, so you have to get that torp defense and torpedoes online, because you know your opponent's going to go for torpedoes, so you might as well go for torpedoes as well, and it's kind of just this feedback loop. T2 destroyers online for Excited shove the Team 1 subs away, because the subs do not have torp defense on board, so they can fire torpedoes, but they can't defend against them, and makes it very, very useful for Team 2 to just go, I have destroyers, you can't shoot at me, but I can shoot at you, ha, and call it a day. Team 1, it looks like everybody has gone for T2 Navy at this point. We don't see anything out of the rig out slot here for Team 1, but it has started a T3 upgrade. Team 2, have you done your T3 upgraded? Yes, you have, so a little bit ahead in that realm. We'll give Team 2 a slight advantage. We'll see if they utilize it or not. That close to Team 1's T3? Probably not, but we'll see if they end up going for first bomber. Again, in a naval map like this, by the time it gets over to that side of the map, maybe we have cruisers online for each team. Yeah, it's not the most guaranteed thing. In the eastern side, we have a large fleet inbound from Team 2. Looks like they're going after Kabanoff's position. He's trying to spam up Team 1 torp defense, and he does have some torp bombers inbound to assist. He's targeting those Coopers, but again, they put out a lot of torpedoes. He's honestly not looking too hot, dropping hit points very, very quickly like a hot potato. He sits underneath the forces from Team 2. It looks like he's going to cause a nice little explosion and some AoE kills here. Kills off a couple of forces for Team 2, but that is it. Team 1 will suffer the first loss, and Team 2 will have first blood on Team 1's Kabanoff to kill off the highest rated player on their team, which is a good scalp to have, to be honest. But again, rating is not the end all be all, but again, it always helps because usually, you know, skill and maybe experience, whatever the case may be, to help influence that rating does again have some weight to it. Not the entire weight, just like mass, but you know, it does help. Western side, we have Team 2's Else Pro underneath some Salems from Team 1. Again, the torpedo upgrade is useful if you can get it done soon enough, which he did. He did it very early. And 2, you can stay there long enough to make it worth it, and you just don't get overwhelmed by your opponent's forces. T1 and like at this point T2 early stages, it's fine. I would highly recommend the Nano to keep himself alive longer. He is at 3-star vet, to be fair, so he does have a little bit more regen to play with, but again, Team 1 could easily blitz him down with some torpedo bombers, so it's just one of those things where you have to be careful, because if you overextend or you underprepare or both, not good things happen. Not good things happen. In terms of eco, it's pretty well even. I mean, slight advantage to Team 1. That might be driven by Nyx having 220 mass a second because he's on double base, but again, it's not a big deal at even 17 minutes, even 10 minutes being up 20 mass a second for a team. It really isn't anything to brag about. Now, if this was 200 mass a second, that's a different story. But 20, 30 mass a second, not so much. Northeastern side, looks like we have some a little bit less forces for Team 2 here. More reinforcements from the middle of the map from Opie to assist the eastern front. Again, more mexes are being deleted off the map because Team 2 is constantly pushing in. And their torpedoes just casually go after a mass extractor or two. It does provide a little bit of distraction for the torpedoes depending on who's attacking and who's defending, but you are losing out on that 6 mass, 2 mass, 12 mass, whatever the mass per second might be. Technically 9 mass if you're going T2 single ring, to be fair. And Team 1 is dealing with this annoyance from Team 2 decently well. They are going to have to deal with the governors from Team 2, but again, looks like it's UEF and it's Seraphim Tech nearby. They have torpedoes. They have missiles of their own as well as TMD on board cruisers, so not really a huge issue. Western side, it looks like, again, cruiser missile tech is also online for Team 2's Excited. And we do see that Asus Pro is still in the water going for reclaim. He's doing a pretty good job because you can reclaim while you're firing torpedoes. A nice little 2-for-1 combo. And again, you're under the water, so the only thing that can hit you is torpedoes. Everything else is just a paperweight in terms of weapon system. So it's a nice advantage in the pond. Again, like I said, the only issue is if he stays there too long, he overextends, he doesn't go for nano, he will eventually just get DPS'd to oblivion if he's not careful. We do see most of the commanders for Team 1 are either on their landmass or hanging very close to them, staying in the main production facilities. Team 2, again, besides actually Asus Pro, everybody else on Team 2 is doing the exact same thing, either in the main base or near the main production facilities. Probably going for T3 upgrades, probably thinking about going for T3 upgrades, probably thinking, can they speed it without impacting their T2 phase? Again, we'll see who ends up going for T3 first. I do feel like with 5 players in Navy, it really might depend who goes T3 first. If the UEFs go for T3 first, they have the Neptune class, which is just, S tier. It's such a good ship. If the Seraphim or the Cybrands, they have, again, their battleships. I will say the Hathum class battleship does have a nuke on board, or can have a nuke on board, so there's that. But it all depends on how much they can recover while going for their T3 upgrade, because while they go for it, that is a main facility not building anything. And as we speak, we do see Saison going for T3. He's already at 33% and climbing, so if he can continue to produce units and maybe get some assistance from Desert and Eagle, then they can swap. He can build T3 units while his teammate goes for his T3 upgrade, and then they can both produce T3 units. I will say Desert Eagle specifically probably needs more facilities, even just if he has 1 or 2 more, just to continuously either pump out cruisers or frigates or subs while that T3 upgrade is going. Because as of right now, that's his only facility. If he goes for T3, he's not producing any more units. So might want to get maybe, another one there and maybe another one there on either side or something, just to help with production efforts. Team 2, in terms of numbers, they are having the numbers. Frontline facilities are being built for engineers for reclaim purposes, which is nice to have because you can get, reclaim very quickly, have a production facility right there. Also, lots of mass involved with naval units, so getting that reclaim number up is very important. In terms of eco, we are seeing Team 2 slightly start to pull away. Not everybody is above 100 mass for both teams. There are some players to watch out for. We have Excited at 230, and of course Nyx with double base at 300. And everybody else is below that. We do see constant torp bombers inbound from Nyx on the northeastern side, and this is helping Team 1 push back. Again, with double eco, it is taking 2 players to hold back Team 1, and it even has assistance from Oppie from the west as well. So it's pretty much a 3v2 in favor, 3v2 in terms of bases in favor for Team 1. So Team 2 definitely needs a little bit more assistance over here. The middle of the map, we are seeing some raiding going down from Team 2's Simon the Gamer, trying to pull the attention away from that eastern side and more towards the middle. We do see a bombing run inbound for those units. I don't see any cruisers in this mix, so that group of destroyers will be, for lack of a better word, destroyed by Team 1, so that's not looking too great. You can see they one-tap the Bulwark and at least one of the destroyers. We have ASFs inbound, but too late to catch up to the bombers. We have pushing in from Team 1's fleet, taking advantage of the pushback or fallback. And T3 Navy is done for Team 1, going for the Neptune-class battlecruiser. Again, laser weapons online for Team 2. We have engineers being dropped off immediately. Probably not the best place to put them, but, the attempts were made. Team 2, T3 Navy almost done. No T3 Navy yet. No T3 and no T3. So it looks like only one player on Team 2 going for T3. Will Deserted Eagle go for T3 now that his teammate is done? Nope, not yet. Not yet. And T3 is done for Nyx, who is also producing those Neptunes. So again, double eco does help to blitz down the upgrades pretty quickly. We also see he has his own T3 air headquarters going for a little bit of an air grid as well. So 2 air players for Team 1. Team 2 looks like it's only 1. We could see another one develop, but only having 1, even T2 air headquarters is not great in a naval match. And we do see Excited now engaging the forces from Deserted Eagle. And it looks like, again, lots of laser weapons. They are utilizing the submerge ability to try to hide from the main weapon systems. That is a nice thing, because, again, it neutralizes not only his own, but his opponents, because they can't easily target the units. They don't sit super underneath the surface, so AoE weapons can work. Maybe like the T2 one on the, not the Omen, what is it? The Exodus class destroyer. It has a little bit of an AoE. I don't think any of these other weapons have AoE, but Team 1 has noticed ACUs, and they're kind of sick and tired of that other torpedo launcher on board the comm. He's almost at 5-star vet. He almost just gets straight up one-tapped. And yes, he's not dead, but Team 1 knows he's there, and if they want to make the play, they might be able to kill him off. He needs to get to safety. He needs to fall back, maybe even to this position, get his nano online. By the time he walks back, gets the nano, and walks back, he'll have full HP. And he'll be right there getting more and more reclaim. And again, the reclaim is definitely helping him. You know, he's at 5,000 mass reclaimed himself. He's the second highest on Team 2. We have Nyx at 22,000, which is insane. But again, double base, and he has a huge portion of that northeastern side to reclaim from. So there's lots of reclaim to be had. It just, can you get there and can you secure it before your opponent does is the question. Again, like I said, staying there too long. You've already been targeted once. Team 1 looks like they're maybe restacking once again for another assault. There's the now upgrade. I don't like how far forward he is with it. He does have some units nearby to his system, both in some cruisers and some Barracudas and whatnot. I don't like how far forward it is, because Team 1 could easily just run straight into him with either some destroyers or even just more bombers and wipe him out before he has a chance to cancel and move. So it's just not great positioning. But again, if Team 2's other players do stay there with their forces, it might be enough. It's just risky. T3 Navy is done for him. Looks like more players on Team 2. T3 Navy is done. T3 Navy has been started, so they're swapping who does it. And then T3 Navy also done. We're going to see lots of Neptunes. 6 UEF players in this game means potentially 6 facilities just producing Neptunes, which is lovely, because I cannot stress enough how good this unit is. It is so good. Takes the destroyer weapon systems from the Uashivo T2 Seraphim, adds some TMD. It can't submerge. It has better range, and it's just all around. It just looks very imposing, and I love it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the lasers. I think I like it because it has lasers. Maybe that's what it is. I think it comes down to when I was younger. I used to play a lot of first-person shooters. I still do, but not as much as I used to. And I really favored the accuracy weapons, like something you can hit, 95% of the time or whatever. Lasers, the only time they miss is when they're changing targets. So, it is a nice ability to just say, I can't miss, or I can barely miss. So, constant damage. Anyway, T2 has been started for ACUs. Again, on the front line, he has finished his nano upgrade. He's still pumping out those torpedoes, giving him more hit points to play with. Just still very risky. He might get 5-star vet sitting here, which will also be nice to boost his hit points even more. A little bit of an air fight over the top of this western side. Looks like it will. There are some cruisers and whatnot nearby. Yeah, it's a little bit in favor for Team 1. But again, honestly, not by much. Essentially, who gets a little bit more AA, who gets a better turn might determine who actually 100% wins that fight. But pretty darn close. T2 has been canceled. He is on the run. He's dropping hit points back in the low yellows. Team 1 is now on top of him. And 5,000, sorry, and 5,000, 1,500, 1,000, 800, 700, 600, 500, 400. And there he goes. Team 1 gets their first scalp of the match. Desert Eagle is credited with that kill, and it is a 5v5 tied up game once again at 27.5 minutes. Again, he stayed there too long. Again, he did get the nano upgrade. He probably should have fled immediately after. Probably shouldn't try to go for the T2. He did try, so I'll give him that, but he was there too long. And now Team 1 is the only one with a Cyber Commander, which means they are the only ones that can have not tactical missile, but they can have tellies on board. I mean, in terms of telemasers. Tellies are still existent on every faction still in the game, but specifically the telemaser. Okay, I like how excited is just sitting underneath his facility. I don't think he's even realistically moved a lot of these players, but they haven't moved from wherever they started, or where they've been sitting for the past 5-6 minutes. 2 T2 naval headquarters is definitely unnecessary unless you want to back up. A, you don't need to put it right next to one another, and B, probably should go for T3. Just food for thought there. Maybe that was an accident. I see he has his other T2 facilities. That was probably an accident. Still unneeded, but like I said, it's always nice to have a backup. Not usually right next to one another, but it's nice to have it. And here comes the laser weapons from Team 1. There's a lot of laser weapons also in this mix. It's Seraphim and UEF mix. That might be my favorite mix of tech, to be honest. Again, I think it just comes down to all the lasers. All of the lasers. We even see some of those destroyers are actually submerging to get underneath those main Neptunes and pushing in to Team 2's territory. There's a lot of firepower here. The bulwarks were here. You can see that those Neptunes are being focused, which is good that they're being focused because that's a lot of the DPS. That's a different thing. But that Neptune, it's almost dead. Oh, and it's gone. Never mind. So Team 2 loses that. Team 2 needs to get on the production line and build something quickly because they're getting out produced, out DPS, out everything. And it's not looking good for Team 1. It does look like they knocked out one of those Neptunes. They are starting to wither away. They're trying to just slowly chip away at those forces. Western side is also being pushed back. So both sides of the map for Team 2 are being shoved back. Some considerably, some it's kind of been a slow backwards fall anyways. In terms of eco, Team 2 is still winning, though. Team 2 has done a very good job of investing in their core mass and then moving outward with using the exterior mass as a way to fund those upgrades. So as mexes are destroyed in the exterior, secondary, whatnot, still the majority of the income is still being produced and collected and whatnot. Another Neptune is gone. This one is barely alive. It has some vet. This one, is in the yellow. Another one right off the assembly line. Team 2, it just don't have the firepower left to deal with this. Looks like Team 1's going full send into the main production facilities, ignoring some of the mexes. Again, these are T3 mexes, but torpedoes are slowly chewing through them and not looking good. We do see some comments being made about, hey, this is fleet over to the west that needs to be dealt with from Opie. Team 2 looks like they're getting a little bit more wiggle room with those Yasos online. And again, those Yasos are definitely going to start paying dividends against Team 1's fleet over there. We have, I thought I saw a summit, but that was not a summit. I don't know what that was. T3 Naval Headquarters is down for Nation on the eastern side. And now the second one is about to fall for Gouache. We still have that Neptune, which is barely alive. We have that one back there and 2 more here. Not looking good for Team 2 on the eastern front. They're losing stuff very, very quickly. Lots of laser weapons just eating away at all of the stuff. Again, they don't miss. Okay, at least 95, 96, 98% of the time they don't miss. So it is not looking good for Team 2 on the eastern front. And the comm of Gouache is being targeted by laser weapons. Is he going to make it out of there? No, he is not. And he is eliminated. Team 1 now gets the advantage and hit points in. Comms left alive at 31 minutes on the clock. And it's a good thing because Team 2 is losing this eastern front. So even if the base does go to Nation, he doesn't have anything to fight back. And unlike Nyx, who's had a lot of time to build up with that double eco, Nation just doesn't have that time. And he's losing stuff constantly. So it's almost like he's going to be down to about a base, especially with the additional mexes being wiped out. Not looking good for Team 2. We do see SMDs being built by multiple players on team. Actually, technically it's the same player, but in multiple locations for Team 2. Team 1, do we have SMDs? We have one there, and that is it. Oh, there's another one over there. Okay, good to see that there's at least a secondary one somewhere. I always want that backup, especially with a small landmass like this. A couple of SMDs will do a very good job. You want every base to have an SMD, but especially with bases this tightly packed to one another, it's kind of nice to just share one. Again, it makes it, more of a focal point for targets, or from your opponents, but it's also better to coordinate. Again, there's advantages and disadvantages to both doing it that way. 12 bombers inbound from Team 2. Again, only player on Team 2 producing air units is the area player. I feel like Team 2 definitely needs some more torpedoes on board. They could probably easily wipe out a couple of these Neptunes if they had more people building them, especially with Nation being knocked out in the naval department, getting into the air game, getting those torpedo bombers outlined, and thinning out the blockade that's starting to happen on the northern side will definitely at least help them get maybe back in the Navy. We see a couple of facilities over here, but again, a lot of them are gone. There's really not that left on that eastern front. We have T3 started on board Opie's common his base. T3 Navy. Again, everybody else on Team 1's going to have T3 Navy. Team 2, again, they had everybody having T3 Navy, but not everybody. We do see that Team 2's excited is done building a nuke. He's loading it as we speak. The question always is, Team 1 is aware of it, so as long as they're paying attention, they keep track of when the nuke was built. They maybe be able to keep track of when it's going to be loaded, and they probably assume it's going to be a little bit faster than the 5 minutes default. So we see SMDs, of course, propping up. This one is all the way half loaded. This one is just barely built. This one is already loaded. So honestly, once that west one is loaded, Opie is probably going to be the only target for Team 2 to go after at this point. And that's if that SMD doesn't cover the majority of that base, which I think it might. But I'd have to dig at the range for a second. We do see a Summit is now online. Summit is not moving, and there's multiple battleships here from Team 2 and an aircraft carrier. Don't know why the aircraft carrier is right there, but, it is providing its missile systems. We have Team 1's fleet now being decimated by just a massive amount of torpedoes. And again, one of the two things that the Neptune lacks, hit points and range. And it's being destroyed by counter Neptunes from Team 2 and just a heaping amount of torpedoes. Again, another weakness also of the Atlantis. There's no torp defense. No idea why there's no torp defense on a big giant experimental aircraft carrier submarine thing. No idea why. Probably balancing issues? Probably. But still, poor design. You have this big giant thing that looks like a sub. Well, I was going to say walks like a sub, but swims like a sub. And it doesn't have torp defense? Anyway, Team 1 and Team 2. Again, Team 1 has lost Kabanoff, being, making it a 5-player team for Team 1. Team 2 has lost Gouache and Asus, making a 4-player team now. Eco is about dead even now, with a lot of mechs dead on this eastern front for Team 2. Map control, I will say, in favor for Team 1. Again, naval maps are very fluid in terms of map control, so it can easily ebb and flow and whatnot. But at least in terms of currently momentum, that sort of thing, Team 1 is definitely in the lead. But there is the nuke to be concerned for Team 2 nonetheless. So let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. Of course, thank you so much for watching. Do a little bit over the 50% mark in the video. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Please like the video, subscribe, all of that YouTube goodness. I guess hyping is a thing. I have no idea what that means. It's a new thing, and I just saw it randomly on, oh, this video has been hyped. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I have no idea what that means. So hype the video, I guess. Is that a new form of liking, I guess? Thank you so much. I really do appreciate the time and attention to give to these videos. I know some videos are better than others. Some setups are better than others. So again, appreciate the patience. This will be my last video, at least for a little bit of traveling in terms of on my mobile machine. All the other videos going forward will be on my normal one. So again, thank you so much for the patience in 1080. And tomorrow will be in 1440 for the 7-player game that always usually happens on Chaos Saturdays. Anyway, we have Neptune. We have all of the everything from Team 1 huddling together to use their collective torp defense to defend against those torpedoes, which is actually a very, very good tactic because, again, you can have overlapping defense in torpedoes just like you can have overlapping shield defense. You just got to watch out for anything on the edges because it could get easily one-tapped by whatever's flying by. Again, torpedoes, bombers are getting constantly annihilated by all the collective AA as well. It does consolidate the AA as well. But you can see that stuff still can get destroyed, and we have the constant pushing in now from the west. Laser weapons are engaging. Team 1 not firing back for whatever reason. I'm kind of... Oh, no. Looks like they're firing. Okay. Yeah, they are firing. It looks like they're being shot at by Team 2, which they are, but they're shooting essentially right where the gun platforms are. So it's almost like they're shooting at the deck guns, but the deck guns are shooting back at them. Western side, look at this pushback from pushing in from Team 1. They've carved a chunk away from Team 2's excited on that western front. And it looks like the forces from OP have decided to join the western engagement. Now, again, nothing really down the middle from either team, and Team 2 launches the first nuke of the game. That was to be expected, of course, and they launch it at OP, which is also counted to be expected. Don't know what this is about, but he's building an SMD here. That's a lot of Team 1 PD. That's an excessive amount of Team 1 PD. Nuke will take a little bit of time to get over to that side of the map, but that production facilities, maybe even both headquarters will be knocked out. I think he might be safe with that one a little bit to the north. We shall see. The remaining forces from Team 1 have been thinned out. Very, very good. But again, there's still more stuff to thin out for Team 2 to deal with. And there goes the nuke. It wipes out a couple of facilities. Again, it wipes out one of the 2 headquarters. There's still that other one to be destroyed. We also see some ambassadors being built by Team 1's Wasteman, which means those are some nice little strap bombers. Enough to maybe one-tap an unupgraded commander. Again, there's only a couple of them that are on land. Most of them are in the ponds. We see 2 of them from Team 2 are in the ponds. I say on land, and then 2 of them are in the ponds. I actually did that in reverse, but you got my point. Team 1, we have 4 of them on land, only 1 in the ponds. So we shall see who ends up getting sniped by all of the things. Lots of Yasuos. Again, just chewing through all of the everything from Team 1. And they are doing a very good job for dealing with all these summits, all of these galaxies. Again, galaxies have torpedoes. They also do not have torp defense. So stacking up Yasuos, overwhelming them with torpedoes is an easy way to just say, no, I'm good. You can go away now. On the eastern front, we see more and more artillery being deployed by Team 2. That is a hefty amount of them, to be honest. And with Team 1 being a little bit more passive with their fleet, their artillery is actually able to hit them pretty easily. We have even more being built on the eastern side of that middle for Excited from Nation. The shielding is not looking too hot, but look at all that artillery just eating alive those Neptunes. Oof, not looking good. There's a summit in there. Team 2 is still launching attacks from the west. There's also a nice little Atlantis that could actually engage, but it's holding off for now. There comes the artillery, just all of those shots raining in on those Neptunes. They are slowly chewing through the shielding and everything else, but again, it's not even fun for the Neptunes at this point, just being eaten by those... Are they Clinkhammers or are they... No, they are Gunthers, because he is Cybern and Seraphim mix. And that summit's about to get eaten in about a couple of seconds. There goes those shots. Again, the shielding is starting to collapse, to be fair. There's missiles inbound as well, helping to thin things out. The artillery is being chewed away, but again, they are sitting pretty close to one another, and you can't block artillery shells. Oh, there's another set. Oh, there's another set. Not looking good for Team 1's fleet if they stay there too long. So lots of turtling for Team 2. I don't blame them. You have attacks going on from the north. You have attacks going on from the west. We have a satellite in the air now for Team 1. That's going to be more annoying to deal with, to be honest. Just build more shielding. This is heavily not shielded. That's not good. Definitely want to do something about that. Second nuke, we might have another Hyper 2001 on our hands. Not as expansive as him. Corinne Satellite Players says Simon the gamer. And we have some torp bombers going after that nice little aircraft carrier in the pond. We have 4 Atlantises. We have 2 inbound to the east. We have 3 inbound from the west from Team 1. Another one inbound, another one inbound. We have 2 more inbound. It's going to just turn into spam UEF experimental with a bunch of Neptunes kind of game is kind of how I think I see this game kind of trending. Again, lots of battleships as well, so those aren't to be discounted, but a lot of Atlantises are being built. Yasuos are still stacking up for Team 2's Excited. I feel like Team 1 and Team 2 could probably use those units a little bit more. Again, there's 2 Seraphim on each team. Opie is one of them. The other one was Kabanoff. He's to the north. And is he building stuff out of that facility? T2. He's building those destroyers, not building Yassos. So the only players on Team 1 that can build, unless they gave over technology, for Yassos is those 2, and they're not building them. So a little bit of advantage for Team 2 in that regard. Another nuke is inbound from Team 2 once again, and it's going north by northwest, or is it west by northwest? I think it's more, maybe it's just more northwest. Mexes maybe are being targeted, maybe facility. Looks like the comm of Saizalman is moving. He has Bill and Nuke on board. It's not going for the main bases because he knows SMDs have been there for a while, so it's not really worth the maybe attempted nukening. It's just not worth it because it's most likely not going to work. Oh, it does get hit. Looks like he tried to clip it a little bit. It still got hit by that SMD. Another one is loaded. He didn't edge nuke it properly, but he was pretty darn close. It was about to make its full turn before landing. Needed to put it just a little bit more south. Torp bombers pushing back the fleet. On the eastern side, again, we have 7 of them. Atlantis is on station for Team 2. And on the western side, we have 3 on the western side. Looks like maybe some of them are headed eastward. I thought I saw another one from the south, but it might have been going eastward. It looks like there's another one online for Team 1's Knicks, and this game is starting to not slow down, but it's definitely one of those, okay, now we're in a big slog affair of a bunch of ships just shooting at one another from range, not really making a lot of progress. And again, it's 3 to 7, and Team 2 has the numbers. Team 2 does not put the remainder of their forces within range, so that's just going to be bodied considerably by Team 1. Don't know why he's just sending one. Oh, he's sending more of them in. There he goes. We have Torp bombers being released from the hatches from Team 1's fleet to produce, again, more and more Torp bombers to target at least this one and make it more of an even playing field, at least with the ones from Team 2's nation. And there goes the torpedoes, and there goes the hit points. The hit points not looking good. And there he goes. He is destroyed. Bombers get a second pass in, at least some of them do. And looks like that's going to be the end of those Torp bombers from Team 1 for a little bit. Looks like more spamming of engineers for reclaim purposes. How much is on the map? Team 2 is down pretty considerably in the total mass recruit, not total mass recruit, but the total mass per second. The map has 191,000 mass, and again, majority on Team 2's side of the map, reclaiming going down from both sides of the map. Is that the same satellite? Or is that a different satellite? That is a different satellite online for Team 1 from Saizal, and it's number 2. Looks like he's going to get some more. Oh, he's building a Naval because why not? 44 minutes on the clock. We have artillery also being... Okay, so both are good. I just feel like focusing on one, then focusing on the other one. Maybe focusing on the T3, then the T4. Team 1 is building anything else in terms of long-range stuff at the same time. It's going to drive me nuts. Because, like, just why not just build the same thing? More shielding being built to protect the air grid. Again, second nuke is almost loaded. 4th, 5th, whatever number nuke for that one is almost loaded. And no game enders yet from Team 2 that I've seen. Maybe possibly. Yep, that's an artillery placement. Just started from Excited. Excited's probably excited about that. And western side, lots and lots of galaxies coming online. Same with these aircraft carriers. Again, they're pumping out missiles too, which is definitely helpful. T3 Naval Headquarters has not been hit yet. T3 Naval Headquarters has not been hit yet. Looks like it's producing even more facilities. Nuke is inbound from Team 2. Once again, I'm surprised given Team 1 has known the nukes. They're not going for their own. Again, they have multiple SMDs in the area to protect those Mavors, which is definitely a smart play. We do see SMD as being assisted loading and another one as well. Team 2 does not have a YOLO online, so you really only need to assist one, to be honest. But he wants to be careful, and I don't mind that, being careful. And anyway, let's take a look at the eco. We have Team 1 at 1.8, Team 2 at 1,000, so heavily in favor for Team 1 at this point. And it really doesn't hit much, to be honest with you. It doesn't even hit the facility right next to it. And don't really know what they were trying to target with that nuke. Maybe they're trying to hit the Atlantis that were floating by, but I guess they missed. Atlantis goes down for some bombers. We're seeing Atlantis inbound. That's about to get annihilated. There's multiple of them. Look at all those lines. All those lines are torpedoes. Look at that thing just getting annihilated. Ooh. Yeah, not great for that Atlantis from Team 1. That is absolutely just eaten alive. We do see Team 1's, they're going after the facilities, which honestly isn't a bad call. They're not going after the headquarters, I guess, because they can get regen pretty quickly from the engineers nearby. The nukes constantly being loaded. This one is not loaded. They fired both of them, it looks like. And then nothing else in this base. How is that Mavor being built? How far is that done? It's still in the red, not even at 12.5% yet. So still progressing, just not there yet. The T3 one is almost done though. So 47.5 minutes maybe, and that thing will be done. But Team 2 is just getting suffocated not only by map control, but also just by eco. It's about a 2-to-1 advantage at this point. And it might not even matter if the Mavor is done because Team 2 just doesn't have the capacity to fight back. They are getting a regular nuke now from Team 2's Nation, but it might be a little late. Even the artillery is still taking its time. We have a T3, another naval headquarters in the east for Nation. But it's just, again, it's one of those things where it just might be a slow death for Team 2. Because you got the Mavor, I think, is the backup plan at this point. It's not even the main plan. It's if you can push him with the naval units, then if you can't, then go for the Mavor. If not, just stick with that. Because there is some, decent amount of engineers here. There's really not as much as you would typically see. T3 artillery is done. Again, I don't like that it's right next to the SMD emplacement. There's a lot of T1 PD for protection, but it's just strikes me as not enough. And that artillery should be within range to target pretty much everything, I think, but the air grid. And everything but almost the entire air grid, I should say. And we'll see what Team 1 starts targeting with that artillery piece. And Team 2, they're starting to push in a little bit more on that western side. They are getting a lot of stuff dead on the eastern front, but it might be a little too late. They have to then, again, send those units all the way to the eastern side of the map, start carving stuff away, and then maybe even push west and wiping out the entire facility over here. If they can take out Navy in the next maybe 3 to 4 minutes, it might be enough, but they need to make a hard push for it. And Team 2 is being very defensive, which again, they're getting a lot of mass from it from reclaim, so that is helping them somewhat stay alive. The total mass accrued realistically is not terrible. We're seeing it about 100, almost 200,000 mass in Team 1's favor, which you may think is a lot, but when you spend it all on units and upgrades and engineers and all that sort of stuff, it really kind of doesn't really add up to a whole lot. But man, that it is widening considerably with that 1,000 mass per second lead. And honestly, at this point, it might not be recoverable. Teleporter started for Team 2's Excited. He has gun on board. He might go for a tele splash approach, which again, there are 3 players on Team 1 that are targetable. The other 2 are not. We have spy planes inbound on the western edge to get some sort of readout what Team 1's up to, but no dice. We have more and more torp bombers being deployed. We have the Mavor now crossing into almost the 50% mark territory. It's just not looking great for Team 2, and again, like it has not been looking great for them for a while. T3 Naval Headquarters is being targeted by the satellites. They're going to maybe knock out the ability for Team 2 to produce those Yasows. 90% in climbing. He probably wants to finish that and then switch back over to assisting the main facility. But again, every time Team 2 makes some progress this way or even this way, Team 1 comes back and pushes them right back. Either the other side or both. There's the splash upgrade. Is he going to assist the headquarters? He does barely get the assist order in time. make sure he gets that naval headquarters at least somewhat back up to full HP. But it's a losing battle at this point. And there it goes. Team 2's Western player of Excited has lost access to T3 naval technology. We have 5 versus 2. That's a lot, to be honest with you. These should be submerged, as you see, but that one just gets annihilated as it submerges. And those are now fleeing as we speak, moving into range of galaxies, which are just annihilating it with ground fire. So not looking good for those Atlantises by any means. Eastern side, we have Team 2 trying to hold back, but again, it's a similar situation. Team 1 is somewhat ground firing them. Again, they are shooting at the summit that's right above them. Splash is almost done for Team 2's Excited. Again, it's been a very low kill game. 50 minutes on the clock and only 3 players have died. And again, that's because it's a naval map and hardly, well, for the most part, hardly anybody dies in naval matches. A little bit of spy planes going off map, and that's probably just because of the tight. Again, every time I push the wrong button, tight turns when they move into the edge of the map. SSU, a lot of HP. I made anti-Billy, says Nyx. And there goes the spy planes. Splash is still being built on board Excited. It's gone 51 minutes in climbing. 4 Atlantises on the western side. None of them remaining on the eastern side. Another one inbound, and Team 2 really is just down to a couple of units, to be honest. They really don't have that much remaining. Art, says Sizalan. Oh, artillery. I thought you meant like art in terms of like somebody was making some art or something. Artillery target, says Sizalan as well. T2 artillery is firing once more, which means stuff is within range. Oh, looks like the summit was getting shot at. And it's just not looking good for Team 2. How's the Mavor doing? It's almost in the green. I don't even know what Team 2 can go after. There's tons of PD for those SMDs. Tons of PD protect this one. You got a bunch of PD for this one. Bunch more PD being built for this one. I mean, there's really not a good target for Team 2 to go after with the tele... the splash comp, maybe something up here going after Wasteman, maybe. But again, even if you knock out the air player, I mean, you still have all the Navy to deal with, and I don't know if that's going to be enough. -1, ladies and gentlemen. We have -1 on the sim speed. Okay, here comes the teleport. Nuke is inbound. He is going to go for the Mavor. Unfortunately, the SMDs will not be killed off in time because there's multiple of them here. One there. Nukes are inbound from Team 2's Excited as well. He immediately teleports and immediately gets annihilated. Well, I should say he teleports and he gets immediately. Now, Team 2 has lost another player, 52 minutes and climbing. Nukes are inbound, 1 to each side of the map. Ooh, oh, they're falling back. Oh, this could be a good one. It could be a good nuke. Oh, gobble. Oh, he grabs multiple battleships and multiple Atlantises with that. Nuke over here grabs not as much, but that one was... Ooh, nasty. Team 2. Let's see if we can see 10th. That's not it. That actually doesn't seem right. Only 10,000 mass and only... Is there another nuke somewhere? No, that was definitely a Seraphim nuke. Struck me as there's really not... Does it not count it until the wreck happens, maybe? No? Because I feel like that number should be a lot higher. Since Oreo use stats. Oh, they're talking about draws. And Nuke. Oh, he's gonna... Oh... No. Bro. Oh, he grabs a couple of them, not a lot. The attempt was made. I know you didn't want air, but please play zoomed out, says Nyx. 43 minutes and climbing, and just Team 2 just doesn't have it. They just, at this point, they just don't have the stuff. This is being blown up by artillery as we speak. Did the Mavor get built? It did not. It's almost done. Maybe Team 1's drawing it out just so they can build the Mavor and call it a day. There's everything transferred over to Team 2's J141. He might control K here shortly, but he transferred it all over to Simon. So it's a 5v3 game in favor for Team 1, but it's more like a 5v2 at this point. Giving all the mass, all the everything. And Team 2 recalls anyways. There it is. 54 minutes and some change remaining. Team 2 loses. Team 1 wins the game. And, I mean, oh, there's a control K, of course, from somebody at the end, because why not? But Team 1 wins the game. MVPs from me. I mean, the artillery was... it didn't really do a whole lot. The Naval wasn't done. It was a nice kind of just, cherry on top kind of thing, but it wasn't really that important. The satellites played a little bit of a role, but honestly, I think it just came down to war of attrition on Team 1's front. Pushing in on both sides, just constantly whittling down, chunks of territory, constantly whittling down those mexes in the water. And eventually it just, Team 2 just could not produce enough to realistically keep up. And Team 1 got up to 2.5 and Team 2 was dropping below 1,000 at that point, and it just didn't matter. I mean, it didn't matter. Even if Team 2 killed off 2 players on Team 1, I don't think it would have mattered, to be honest. Now, some would argue it depends on the 2 players, which is definitely arguable, but given the units on, on station and locations and whatnot, I mean, you had 4 Atlantises still alive over here, down here. There really wasn't much of a fleet down here on the southwestern side. Most of the defenses were over here to the east, and those were slowly being wiped out anyways. So, I mean, honestly, it really just came down to time, one way or the other. So, Team 2 saw it and went, nah, we'll see, but it just didn't work out. And sometimes it doesn't. And that's just how the game works. Let me know down in the comments if you think deserves MVP. Again, I really don't have a pick because Navy kind of just coalesced into one. I do maybe want to lean a little bit more towards Nyx. I mean, he had double base, to be fair, but he really pushed that Eastern front. He really was able to do a lot of work and really maybe force some units from Team 2 this way that really needed to go this way, and that kind of started to allow Team 1 to push that way. So maybe leaning towards Nyx, but not by much. So again, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next one.